Hi, everybody. Hey, it's Rita Thomas, your funnel godmother. We have such a treat for you today. This, I was just saying off camera, this is almost like a blind date for business. So, Lee Levitt he's a no, I'm sorry, mindset and habits coach for business owners for executive level, enterprise level businesses. And we met through Alignable. There was an online networking event there. So we had one breakout room together. Yesterday, we had a one-to-one 30 minutes, and we decided we're going to do some live. He's going to coach me live on a brand new program that I'm developing for my business. So you can see both sides of our business. We're going to pull back the curtain and just like I'm going to be learning in public. So I am so excited to introduce you to Lee Levitt. Please tell the audience everything about you.
Thanks, Rita. I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you on camera. Most of my coaching doesn't happen on camera. Most of it happens behind closed doors or out on trail walks in the forest. So I have been in the corporate world for many, many years, working with enterprise salespeople and sales teams at companies that people may have heard of, like Oracle and Google. If you haven't heard of Google, you can Google it. And I left Google about a year ago to launch my own consulting practice, helping technology companies mostly with their sales productivity. So mostly I coach enterprise salespeople, and enterprise salespeople typically have some challenges, and those challenges are the trash that's in their heads. You can't do this with the
Oh, I thought that was your real background.
yeah, that is my real background. I'm calling from a Seller Group corporate headquarters in New York City. And so a lot of what happens with salespeople is they have things in their head, existing beliefs, or that voice on their shoulder, that voice in their ear that tells them they're not good enough or whatever. And of course, when you mention that voice in their ear, their voice in their head, they go, "What voice?" And I go, "The voice that just said, what voice is that voice?" So the second part of what I focus on is helping salespeople and sales teams with activities and behaviors to help them to be more successful, actually engaging with prospects and customers so that everyone gets value. And Rita, when you told me what you do as the funnel godmother, I was completely impressed. And then you said, but I don't like to sell. In fact, I can't sell. In fact, I won't sell. In fact, I hate selling.
I'm so
And
bad at it.
I said, wait a minute, Rita. That's something's not right here. Something is off in the state of Denmark. And I said, let's spend some time talking about that. So here we are.
Here we are, bearing it all. So he said, when I said, "Oh, I'm not good at selling. I don't like it." In fact, I had decided I was going to hire a fractional salesperson. And he said, "Tell me more about that." Lee did. And I said, "Well, here's what happens. All right. So I can talk to somebody for 30 minutes, an hour, even longer. I love what I do. I love how the systems affect their life, their business and personal life. I am like a kid in the candy store inside of any kind of CRM system. I love all of them. And I can just talk all day long about it. And as soon at the split second that I decide, okay, we're going to now start to sell, like ask them to buy something. You see, I'm starting to hesitate and stutter. My face gets all red. I get really warm. I can't hardly breathe. And this is what happens in a sales call with me. And as long as I'm just talking, I can even be helping them, giving them nuggets. But as soon as I start to, my brain says it's time to ask for money, my body just says, I'm not in for this.
Yeah, and that's very common. There's a couple of different things that could be going on, and I won't make a diagnosis. I will ask some questions. Sometimes people have an interesting relationship with money, in that I don't deserve it. Right? That's plain and simple. I don't deserve it, so I can't ask for it. Other people, including me, love discovery. I love co-creating with customers. I love going through all the details of what the art of the possible is and creating new possibilities and figuring out different ways to help them to be successful. Now, for me, I've sold, I can sell. I don't really care about selling. I don't care about ringing the bell. And so for me, I stay away from, for the most part, or jobs where I have to sell. Now, of course, in running my own business, I do have to sell. Or as in the book, The Atomic Habits suggests, change the word I have to I get to. I get to sell. And selling is that bridge from helping people to see a different way of doing things to causing that to become a reality. But we still aren't yet talking about you, Rita. So let's talk a little bit more about you.
Before we do that, let's put your company name. I'm going to put a comment up on the screen. So what's your company name?
Company name is the Accelera Group, Acelera Group.
All right, there we go. How about a contact for you?
They can find me at acceleragroup.com.
ACELERA.com. Okay, I'm going to put this.
Acceleragroup.com.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Let's make sure this is right.
Yep. Yeah, they need to put a space in after the Accelera Group. It is acceleragroup.com. So you got it. It just reads funny on my screen.
It does. I'm going to fix it. All right, here we go. So there.
Perfect.
All right, here we go. LELEVITT with
That's it.
ACELERA Group. OUP
Yep.
And now I'll put this up so everyone can see it, so then you can be checking him out as you wish. So what do we need to do?
So for starters, Rita, you mentioned that you were thinking about hiring a salesperson to be your mouthpiece to your customers. And I've seen that story unfold before. And what happens is you have the passion, you have the knowledge, you have the customer credibility. That salesperson doesn't know anything about you or about your product or about the customer. And they are typically being paid on a success basis. So there's no base salary that gets them to do the work. And so you ultimately end up doing 90% of the work, or maybe 110% of the work. And then they ask for the order, as it were, and then you pay them 30% or 20% or whatever it is. It's not fair. It's not right. And your success rate will actually go down.
I can see how that can
So
happen.
money out the door, and your customers will be less happy. Now, my apologies in advance to all of the 100% commission salespeople out there. It's a tough road, but Rita is not one of your customers. She runs a small business, and she is passionate about what she sells. Rita, if you weren't passionate, I'd say absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Go find someone to deliver that passion to your customers. You are passionate, and there's something getting in your way.
Okay.
So let's talk about that.
That's probably me.
It's not you. It's that voice in your head.
Oh, okay.
It's a belief that says, I can't ask someone for money, or they should know it's right, or something's going to happen, or I just don't deserve it.
So it's the itty bitty committee.
That's it. It's the itty bitty committee in your head. You're voting on let's zip Rita's lips right now because she doesn't deserve it, or she's gonna make a boo boo and she's gonna ask for the wrong thing. Do you want your customers to be successful?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you think they can afford your services?
Sometimes they can't, and I have in the past, up until now, been talking to people who, by and large, could not afford it, and so I was marketing to the wrong audience.
So that's a separate conversation. And if you ask someone for money that doesn't have it, that doesn't end well. On the other hand, if you ask someone for money who doesn't have it but should have it, and the way for them to get that money is to work with you to generate it, then they'll figure it out.
Okay.
Then they'll figure it out. I was many years ago, I worked for a company that actually asked our resellers to mortgage their houses against the company's products. It's like, no, we're not. We'll get a line of credit. We're not going to put our house up against against the inventory you want us to carry? No. So in your case, you can call on anyone in the world. Now, not everyone is qualified to buy your pipeline development services. What's your tagline again?
I'm your funnel godmother.
The funnel godmother. So, and you're wearing the godmother crown, which
Yep,
is,
and I have a wand.
and you have a wand.
Uh,
So, Rita, I actually asked this question on sales calls. With your wand, you can create any wish for yourself. What
neat.
what wish would that be?
Oh, any wish.
Any
Any,
wish? What would it be?
I'll keep it business related.
Let's keep it business related.
So the wish would be that I can effectively, quickly transfer my commitment and conviction and passion about the solution I'm offering to that person directly to them quicker and more effectively.
So that has an attribute of reality already. When you and I talked briefly yesterday, there was no can, it was an is. You were doing it. You were doing it. There was no future possibility. That was a reality of the present. You transmit credibility, you transmit trust and truthfulness, you transmit conviction. And my guess is, and I haven't talked with any of them, your customers love working with you.
Mhm.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
What do your customers say about you?
That I'm patient and um, nurturing and encouraging to them, even when they don't understand something. And I'm really knowledgeable about what I do, and yet having that knowledge and being able to talk to them in a way that they understand it. So a lot of people that know how to do what I'm doing can't explain it to a regular person in a way that they understand it. So they love
Mhm,
that
mhm.
as well.
And do your customers find results in working with you?
Hmm.
What kind of results?
Well, so their business runs better because they get a lot of daily data minutia off their minds, off their shoulders, and we put that on automation so that they can be eyes up, looking for opportunities, meeting new people, making more money, developing new products, and not be a slave like with their face down, on the keyboard. Because every business has a million and one tiny little details that have to be taken care of every day.
Mhm,
And a lot of businesses they go under or they struggle terribly because the business owner is wrapped up in those tiny details and they need to be watching the big picture. So their business runs better. Here's the other thing. If they don't have a system like I support or someone to guide them through that system, then they have months that go like lots of revenue, no revenue, lots of revenue, no revenue,
mhm,
because they're either selling or delivering on their product and not bringing in money, or then they have to turn around and sell a bunch more and make money, and then they have to deliver on that, so they're not making money. And that's only two pieces of the system that are going up and down. There's communication with
mhm,
people, scheduling appointments. They're all going up and down. And it's maddening and terrifying and very frustrating and discouraging. So when you have some of those tasks on autopilot, then it looks a lot more like this
mhm,
instead of being a terrible roller coaster where you're just constantly either too much work or not enough money and the
mhm.
whole.
So, Rita, with apologies to Michael Douglas from the Kaminsky Method, how do you feel when you talk about that? When you provide that description of your business, how do you feel?
I'll tell you exactly how I am describing my business the way it used to run before I found a system to do all those things. And I can go right back there in my mind and my heart. It was 3.5 years ago, but it feels like a minute ago because it was a terrible feeling. In fact, I
No, no,
started.
no, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. My question was,
Oh,
how do you feel when you describe what you do for your customers now?
what I do now? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
How
I
do you
feel
how do you
so
feel?
proud. I feel really proud and happy because I know and I believe that the future of the world and America is on the small business owner. Every
Mhm,
large business started out small.
mhm,
Okay.
yep,
Every small business owner, we are the foundation and the backbone of America. And it breaks my heart when I see small business owners believing that I'm not good at this. I'm not
mhm,
a good business person. Maybe I shouldn't have quit my job. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. What was wrong with me? And it's only because they're trying to do too many things at one time. And so how I feel when I help them is awesome. Like,
mhm,
I know that not just their quality of life in their business, but their personal life quality improves
mhm,
as well. Because think about it, you're sitting on the couch with your family and you're watching a Disney movie and your mind is still on the office, worried
mhm,
about this and that you
yep,
didn't get done, and you can actually be present, fully present with your family or your friends, whatever it is in your life that you want to do outside of your office. You can just relax. Here's what it is, peace of mind.
mhm.
When I bought a software to run my business with, I did not know that you could give someone money and you could get back peace of mind. I never would have thought you could do that.
Say that again?
Yeah, you can give somebody money and buy a product and get back peace of mind.
And
And
that's what you do for your customers.
mhm, that's true.
So, I want you to hold on to that feeling and then repeat after me. Is that something you would be interested in?
Is that something you would be interested in?
Would you like to work with me to deliver those benefits for your company?
Would you like to work with me to deliver those benefits for your company?
That's it.
I said it all without stuttering.
Why?
Because I had built the passion up and I had put myself in that frame of mind to like empathize with where they are right now.
Yep.
And I really want to help them now. Whoever that person is that I'm imagining talking to, I'm like, let's get started right now. I can help you.
Rita, my work is done.
So let me say it again. Is that something I better write this down? Oh, let me put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in
Yeah,
the chat, but
okay.
and it has to come from the heart. Whatever your words are, it has to come from your heart. You share your experience, you share the possibilities, you then ask the question, "Would do you think this would be of benefit to your company? Would you like to work with me to deliver those benefits or to receive those benefits?"
Man, it's that easy, really? Now,
It
it's
is.
not just the words, I know it's not just the words, but once I mean, I have the beginning part, that's sometimes the hard part for other people, but once have talked to them and I've found ways that I know I can help them and I feel for the situation they're in, then I can just say those 2 things, know that's what I'm gonna say,
If
and then see what they say.
if you've shared your passion, if you've shared the story, if you've taken them through the potential results, they're either enrolled, in which at which time you then ask them those 2 questions, or they're not enrolled, and then you continue in discovery, right? If you sense that they're not yet interested, you say you ask kind of the more generic question, "Is this something that might work for your company?" Right? You're still in discovery then, right? Because
Wow.
you don't want to move on to asking for the sale or commitment until you're pretty certain that they do wanna move forward.
Oh, right, right. So I have been studying about sales, and you do want them to into a place where they're saying yes.
Mhm.
They're saying yes.
Yeah.
They're saying yes,
Mhm.
and so they are on board before the close.
Well, so that technique of getting people to say yes is separate.
Okay.
So inside salespeople typically ask, "Is this a bad time to talk?"
Then you say yes.
Because people will almost never say yes to that. They feel bad and they say, "No, it's not a bad time to talk." But so that's a simple technique. What we're talking about is actually not the question you ask, but the story you tell. And the so you're coming at this from a personal experience. When I work with enterprise salespeople that are selling security products, they don't have a personal experience, right?
Mm,
They didn't run a company that got shut down because of hackers. They went to training.
mhm.
Somebody enabled them on how to sell the product. They don't have that personal experience. You do. When you share your personal experience, you're being authentic and you're enrolling that person in your experience, in your feelings. Selling is about feelings. Buying is about feelings and emotion. People will tell you that buying is an intellectual process. It's not. People use the facts to justify the emotional decision they made. And I don't care whether we're talking about a new pair of running shoes or whether we're talking about a new car or a $10 million enterprise resource planning system. People buy based on emotions. A lot of it is risk, perception of risk. In this case, it's I can go home at 5 o'clock and see my kids. That's what
And
you're delivering to people.
know that everything is covered. See, you
Mhm.
could go home at 5 o'clock and see your kids now, but you would know that everything's not covered. So you
So I'm
have that.
so I'm going to ask you another question, Rita. My work isn't quite done yet. I'm going to ask you another question. Why are you holding back from getting more people involved? If you know the results that you deliver, why are you not asking as many people as possible to get involved so that they get those benefits too?
All right.
What's up with that?
I think it's twofold. I I need to make sure that I am 100% confident that I can deliver to
Mhm,
that many people
mhm.
that high a quality.
Yep.
The bigger part of it, I don't know which one's bigger, but I believe the bigger part is the results that I promise are dependent on them participating at a
Mhm.
high level. And
Yeah.
I feel like I can only guarantee my own results. I can't guarantee you're going to double or triple your revenue in 3 months because I can't control what they're going to do. And I think that's
Yep.
the biggest part.
So it sounds like you might have had some experiences in the past where you've had customers that weren't completely committed and they spent the money, they didn't do the work, they didn't get the results. Is that true?
Yeah. And in the process, I did a whole lot more work than I was supposed to,
It
and
was
so then I couldn't serve more clients because I was wrapped up in this client that
Yep.
wasn't getting results.
Yep. So it was disastrous for you and it was bad for them.
Mhm.
So we've all been there. Small service providers have been there. I fired a good friend once who was a coaching client. I said, "Jack, I love sitting down with you every week and drinking coffee and cashing your check. What I hate is you're not getting the benefit because you're not doing the work. Stop giving me checks. We'll keep having coffee, but stop paying me." And these days, and those were large checks too. This was a while ago when money was free. Um, these days, I'm really careful to make sure that my coaching clients are going to do the work for the same reason. I don't want to put the time in and then try to drag them through that buttonhole and make sure that they're going to do the work and get the results. So good on you, as they say in Australia. Good on you for being particular about who you work with. And you can say to people, I don't work with everybody. I'm a small business. I have a reasonable amount of resources. I want to make sure I only work with people who are really committed to delivering great results. Is that you? Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think you should say, "Is that you?" I'm kind of sassy. I'm a New Yorker, so I can say that. Is that you? Use your own personality, your own style. But so there's a sales methodology called Sandler sales, which is effective in some places. One of the techniques I particularly like about Sandler is the art of going negative. When you lean in and say, I have something that everybody needs it, you need it. People are going to lean back and go, whoa, On the other hand, if you lean back, if you say, "I'm not really sure this is the right fit for you," what are some people gonna do who are interested?
Well, some will bail,
Some will
but
bail.
some are gonna double down and say, "Yes, it is for me."
They're gonna lean in.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And those are the people that now they're selling themselves.
Yes.
When they lean in, they're selling themselves. So that can be part of your conversation. And it's not a sales technique. It's a disqualification conversation.
And
Are
it
you committed
creates
to go ahead.
scarcity. Yeah.
Sorry?
It creates scarcity in the product.
Um, that's a side attribute of it. What's more important is for you as the provider that you only work with people who are committed to doing the work with you
Mhm.
because they're happier, you're happier, everybody makes more money.
Yeah, because I wonder, I think, how do people make these guarantees? I feel like they must have some fine print on the contract that says you have to do you must do these 3 or 4 things for this guarantee to be
Yep.
effective.
Yep. So what do you think, Rita?
Well, I'm in a lot better position than I was a few minutes ago, 26 minutes ago.
So what has shifted for you?
Well, I have some really good words to say that I believe in.
They're your words.
They're my words, and I feel like the way I have been feeling about my customers and my product is correct and right. Because sometimes you start to doubt and you go, "Oh, am I just a Pollyanna? What's going on?
Yeah.
I love my customers so much. I love my product so much, and yet I'm not making the money, that I have on my yearly goal, right?"
Mhm.
So then you start to wonder, am I doing this right? And it sounds like I have everything aligned. I didn't have the words coming out that were coming from my head and my heart.
So the words were there, the feelings were there. You just didn't know to use all of them.
Hmm.
I didn't tell you to say anything new.
That's true. I know all those words, and I've said all of those words, we put them together in such a way that I can say them.
Mhm. I think you let go of that vision of the plaid coated salesperson, right? Who is like, chewing gum and smoking a cigar at the same time. And with a clipboard going, hey, you gotta buy this, you gotta buy this.
Right,
Like
and the pressure and the fast decision. Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
never you, right?
Mhm.
And I think you had a bit of that image in your head of, for me to be successful in my business, I have to be that person. Guess what? For you to be successful in your business, you can't be that person. You have to be you. You
Oh,
have
you're right.
you get to be authentic.
I get to be. I get
You
to, not I
get
have.
to be authentic. You choose to be authentic.
I want to ask you now. I mean, I feel like we made a huge amount of progress. And so I want to ask you now, what would be the next step? Like, how would I or someone like me watching this video work with you further?
So for you, it's your time to go off and get some at bats.
Hmm.
Go talk to some people. And before you talk to them, put your head in the right place. Think about before you pick up the phone and talk to someone. And let's say you've got a call scheduled at 4 o'clock with a prospect. At 3:30, sit down and think about that business owner, their company, what it means to them to deliver better results more effectively and efficiently. Think about how you can help them to do that. Think about your past successes and enter that conversation with the knowledge and comfort that you have something valuable for them. And it's their choice to say yes or no to you.
Yeah, and so here's the second part. So once they say no, then you ask what their objections are. There's objections and there's I can't think of the other word. Well, some are before the price comes out and the other ones are after the price comes out.
Mhm.
But here and then they say, "No, I can't for this reason," and then you try to resolve that, and then they say, "I can't for this reason," and so how many times do you like, how far do you I feel like I'm pushing at that point to just keep talking to them about buying the thing after they said no.
So, some people in sales say no is just another objection.
Mhm.
Sometimes when a customer says no, you really are done,
Right.
right? I just had a very senior guy at a three-letter technical company say no to me, and that's when we started the conversation. That's not when it ended, that's when we started.
Hmm,
And I won't say any more about that particular situation, but
sure.
that's where it starts. It's like, so no actually suggests a series of concerns. Is it pricing? Is it timing? Is it process? Is it me? Is it the product? Is it now is just not a good time? And so you can ask a clarifying question. What is it about what we talked about that has you not specifically interested in moving forward right now? So you want to know what you want to understand what that no means. Why are they saying no?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, so that's not me pushing them, that's just learning more.
Yeah, and sometimes so let's talk about price separately, but sometimes they may simply not understand some piece of some part of what you talked about. And then you get to clarify it and they go, "Oh, I'm so glad we had that conversation because absolutely I want to move forward."
Yeah, so, like, with my $10,000 package that I'm building right now, they might have somehow got the impression that they have to do all of this work that I described,
Mhm. Yep.
and they would say, "No, that's not for me." But if I clarify, then I say, "No, no, no, you don't do the work, I do the work."
Mhm.
That's that's what the whole thing is.
Right.
Then that it could be that there was some misunderstanding or piece of information they didn't grasp as the
Right.
conversation was going on. Okay.
Right. Now let's talk about money. Everybody that you talk to is spending money on doing this now, whether they're doing it manually, whether they're doing it with 3 by 5 cards or Excel spreadsheets or complex cloud-based software applications or their brother-in-law Charlie, who knows? They are spending money doing this now. Nobody's coming from 0.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're actually not in business.
Well, so they're spending money, time, and attention
Right.
and energy doing it
So
now. Yeah.
so take that as a given,
Okay.
and then what you wanna do with regard to money, and it's not money, it's budget, you wanna bracket them. Fairly early on in the process, you do wanna bring up the topic of money because some people may actually have $50 to spend. And you know what? They should stick with Excel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I were the funnel godfather, I would say, um, so just, as we start the conversation, I have 3 different, related offerings. I don't call them good, better, and best because 'cause they're all really good. What I have are 3 offers in 3 different budgetary areas. The first is in the area of roughly around $10,000. The second is in the range of 25 to $50,000, and the third is in the rough range of around $100,000. Which of and so there's an initial investment and there's an ongoing expense, and so it's all commensurate with that. Which of those should we target um, towards, or is it too early for us to say because you need to know more about the specific capabilities of each? And you're going to see a flinch.
Oh my
What it,
god, I love that. I am gonna go back and get this out of the transcript, what you just said
yeah,
is
yeah. Whatever you say, you're going to see a flinch, and it's going to be, oh, $100,000 is way too much, but yeah, $50,000 is roughly where I could justify doing it based on a business. And then 4 conversations later, when they say, "So how much is this?" And you say, "Well, we talked about it being roughly $50,000." It's like, "We've already talked about that, dude.
You picked.
You picked." Like, and I had this conversation with a prospective client once. They said the project was 35 grand, and they said, "We'd like to pay less." And, my first thought was, "And I'd like to have a red Ferrari in the driveway too, but just, wishing ain't gonna make it happen." Um, I had some inside information that, 1, we were the chosen provider for them, and 2, they loved exactly what we had proposed. And so this was really early in my consulting practice. This was 2001. So that was a long time ago. It's a $35,000 project, and I knew they had the money and they wanted to do it. And so I said, "So, well, 35K is what we proposed, and here is how it broke out. What would you propose that we take out?"
I love that. I've used that before, when I
Mhm.
had a boss and he wanted me to do more, and I would say, "Well, this is everything I'm working on for you already. What do you want me to stop doing?"
Yeah, and so you're gonna see one of 2 things happen there. You're gonna see a smile break out on their face going, "No, we want everything. We just didn't wanna pay that much, but we're okay." Or they're gonna go, "We just don't have that much money." And so they're disqualifying themselves or qualifying themselves. And so it's a good exercise. I have to tell you, it took a little bit of intestinal fortitude to say that the first time. It's like, do I wanna stick for that 35 and maybe not get anything, or take a guaranteed 28? And I stuck, and we got it.
Yeah, because then they have to sell themselves on it again
Mhm.
through the process.
Yep.
Yeah, and once you start offering to take something out, then they don't want that either,
Right.
you said.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the salesperson that drove the red Ferrari up into my driveway, and I said, "Well, I don't wanna pay that much," and he started taking off the steering wheel and the alloy wheels and, the Weber carburetors, and he took the red paint off, and now there's this dingy gray hulk of an Italian car sitting in the driveway. So, you know,
Yep.
no,
I
I'll take it
agree.
all. So to answer the other part of your question, I work with, mostly enterprise salespeople that sell, fairly large, uh, software packages or service packages to big companies. I also and I work with individuals in those organizations. I do occasionally work with business owners like you, Rita, who have have a fabulous product or service and have fabulous experience and are stuck and have just that little itty bitty committee going on in their head that says something that keeps you from being 100% authentic. And I tell people 95% of my value happens in the first engagement. After that, it's all habits and practice. And that's not always true, but like for today, right? So we cleared what was in your way. And it might come back, but now you know that it's just that itty bitty committee yakking away, and you can tell it to
But and when
shut.
it does come back, which I'm sure it will, because habit, of course, and routine, but I have a tool or tools to I just can say, "Oh, I have a tool for that."
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
tool is, "Thanks for sharing, now shut up." It's that simple. It's acknowledging that it's not you. It's just that external voice. It's your saboteur sitting on your shoulder trying to keep you from being successful. And it's not you. It's just that saboteur. And you can
Yep.
tell that saboteur to take a hike.
Yes. Yes. Well, oh my goodness. All right. So we have your website here. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested in learning more about you. They'll be checking out your website. I appreciate this so much. I have not worked with a mindset coach ever. Now I know a lot of coaches, and they're all different kinds of coaches,
Mhm.
and some of them say they're a mindset coach, and but I haven't worked with any of them on this level. So if you in the audience have people in your life or have access to a mindset coach or you need one, you've got Lee here as well. This has been really freeing. Like, I mean, I can see how this it's not been an hour yet, but if I spent an hour with Lee and I spent any amount of money on that 1 hour, how I could exponentially make that money back. Just not just make that money back in transactions, but really transform the way I look at the future and my life and everything in my purview.
Rita, you use the word transformation. That's why I'm here.
Mhm.
My purpose in being on this earth is to help people transform. That's why I'm here. And I'm not a mindset coach. I'm a sales coach that focuses on mindset.
Oh, good. Okay,
So,
thank you
yeah,
for that.
so it's just that a lot of people in sales have that saboteur or their or a judge or that itty bitty committee on their shoulder whispering in their ear, and it's louder than everyone else. So it's an opportunity to get that voice to tone down a little bit and
Oh,
and focus on your commitments.
so since you did clarify, and thank you for that, you are a sales coach. I know you said that at the beginning of the call,
Yeah.
but I still was stuck
Yep.
on my so in the step I am in a step right now where I've decided I am going to develop this package and sell it for this much money. And I'm
Mhm.
in the real first week we do this, second week we do this. Is that something that you, as a sales coach, would work with a customer like me on building that package?
Uh, Typically, I work with individuals that are in larger companies where that's already set. I can help with product development. I mean, I've been in business a long time. I've seen a lot of stuff. I love playing with pricing, so and packaging. So sure, I can help with that as appropriate. My sweet spot is selling is the mindset and then the selling habits, selling practices.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, you know,
Exactly.
I have a client who said to me a couple of weeks ago, "I made 100 outbound calls, this week, and I didn't talk to a single person."
Yeah.
I said, "How's that working out for you?" I said, "Stop doing that. Don't
Okay.
do that."
So let's dive into that very briefly, if you have time.
Uh-huh.
I can see that the phone rings, people don't answer, you leave a voicemail.
Mhm.
Or it's a wrong number, but generally you have to leave a voicemail. So are you saying that there's a way to affect the number of voicemails that you get and that you have to leave and you get to talk to more people, live people? How do you do that?
Rita, I could tell you, but that's gonna cost you extra. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
So, there's an old saying, this comes from BNI networking. Nobody knows how much you care. Sorry, nobody cares how much you know.
until they know how much you care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So when you call someone, when you make a cold call and get someone on the phone, first you're probably interrupting them. They're probably doing something different. And many people are wired to say no to a sales call.
Yes.
So let's not do that. Let's get a message to that person in a way that is not threatening and not invasive and allows them to handle it on their own time. And by the way, is not email
Okay.
because email and texting is and social selling is just as intrusive. You know, I've got 44,000 emails I need to read today
Yes.
before, so, when someone sends me a selling email, it's like it's just another in the bunch.
Hmm.
So I've used a technique for many years. You may be familiar with it. It's called dimensional direct mail. Not just direct mail, but dimensional direct mail. It's a thing. It's a box. It has stuff in it. It arrives on someone's desk. They
Uh-huh.
go, "Huh, what is this?" They open it up. There's there's a tumbler, right? This one says you can't see it because it's going to disappear. How do I
Put
do
it
this?
on your face.
There we go. It says Falmouth Road Race, but my clients send things out that say IBM, right? And it has a white paper and a notepad and a pen. And so, boom, this thing shows up, and there's a handwritten note that says, "I work with companies like yours. I'm interested in helping you deliver better security or more efficient funnel
Mhm.
funnel access, et cetera. Whatever is relevant to that individual. And then there might be a brief white paper on how the company has helped other similar organizations. And so now we've now we've warmed up that recipient. Now they have some sense that when Rita calls, this is why she's calling, and it might be relevant to me because. Now when you call, and by the way, they still don't pick up the phone, right? So let's be honest. You leave a voicemail message. Hi, this is Rita following up. I sent you a package. You might have seen that white paper about how we help other companies, or the brief description about how I help companies improve their funnel management. They aren't going to return your call,
Mhm.
right? Nobody returns calls. Then you send them an email. And what you don't say is, thanks a lot for not returning my call.
Right. Don't call them out.
Yeah. Let's not start with the Jewish guilt. Let's continue on with the education, right? As though this was the very first message you sent them. Interested in talking with you about how you can improve your funnel management. You can do it more efficiently. You can deliver better results, and you can get home on time to see your family. I take full responsibility for how your funnel operates. If this is
Mm.
something that would be of interest to you, if this is something you'd be interested in exploring, send me a note and let me know what times might be available to you.
Now, I've heard this tactic to say, "I'll call you Thursday afternoon." So then they know you're gonna call.
You, I love that technique. The question is when you mix that in. You can
Mm,
do it right then. I might wait
one more.
um, another cycle, right? You only
Mhm,
send one box, you call, you email. You
mhm.
wait 3 days, you call, you email. Love to chat with you about how I might be able to help with your funnel management, your funnel effectiveness. How about Thursday at 3? How does Thursday at 3 work for you?
There
Looking
you
forward to talking.
yeah.
And then you call them Thursday at 3. And if they pick up, great. If they don't pick up, hey, this is Rita. Was hoping to talk to you at 3 o'clock. I'll send you a note to figure out when might be good for you. Again, no guilt. Don't ever make them wrong.
Right. Yeah. And
Leave the
here's
Jewish.
what I love about what you're describing. A lot of that is what I do, so I automate that process, so you're not trying to figure out who needs a phone call, who needs an email, who needs a gift. It's all in a process, and you get reminders of what you're supposed to do for each person at the right time.
I was wondering when you would mention that, Rita.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So automating that selling process. Exactly. And so what's different about that process is that people reward effort.
Yeah.
People reward interest and curiosity and creativity. Many years ago, we sent footballs, and it was late in the season. We sent footballs to resellers. We got a 75% response rate. The tagline was strong. The item was of interest. It worked. I did a series when the Accelero Group was a marketing consultancy 20 something years ago. I sent a series of brochures and success stories, and then I had a fake Wall Street Journal cover page, and I put the company's name in there and said, Acme Manufacturing increased blah 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 by 40% because they work with a Accelero Group, right? Seriously. And I dummied that up and I put it in. And I sent them out week after week, right? Over like 6 weeks, and then I called and I said, "Did you happen to see the success story?" Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Did you happen to see the Wall Street Journal article about you? Nope, didn't see it. Did you see the brochure? No. Did you get any big blue envelopes? Yeah, was that you? Really? We wasted all that effort on creativity. I just could have sent empty envelopes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. People, when you do it once, like you don't get any A for effort. When
Mhm.
you stick to it, when you put a white paper that's of interest, when you write a personal note that shows you actually spend at least 30 seconds looking up the founder's name and where they went to college or what board they're on or what their favorite charity is or where they went to school or whatever, people reward that effort. It's not rocket science, Rita. You know this.
Well, and by the same
Bumblebees.
token, this does sound like a lot of work, but it's a if you have appropriately priced products, which we didn't talk about price at all today, but if you have products that are appropriately priced, then you can spend this much time and effort on getting
Yep.
one client
Yep.
because your return on that investment is going to be high. If you have a low price product, you can't afford to spend this much attention on every client. You
That's right.
can't.
That's right.
So
Corporate marketing handles that. That's a B2C product. But when we're in B2B, when we're selling um, important services, I would much rather make, I would rather work on 10 high quality prospects than make 100 low value phone calls.
yes,
The math is just, it points very strongly in one direction.
yes.
And it's not rocket science, and anyone can do it. They need a little bit of creativity, and they need a good funnel platform behind them. Do you know of anybody that has a good funnel program?
I sure do.
Who would
She's
that be, Rita?
very nurturing and understanding and can explain anything to you. And here's the thing, usually by the time I teach people how and why and when to use a funnel, what it does, what it doesn't do, we look at their business, then they say, "Okay, this is all great. I want it, but I don't want to do this. You do it." And so they just hire me to do it. And I'll tell you, it goes faster and it's built better than if they did it themselves.
So, Rita, I'll ask you this question, and I don't know the answer to it. Is it better for you to tell them up front that you own all of the operations so that objection doesn't linger? Or is it better holding off until they raise it as an objection and you use it as a closing conversation? Oh, I didn't mention that. Yeah, no, I handle all of the operations. When would you like to start?
I have
Just
a I expect that it would be better to mention it earlier because if I don't mention it early, then their mind is resisting because they can't
Mhm. Yep,
fit all of that into their schedule the whole time we're talking about all the benefits.
yep. I'm inclined to agree with you. I would be curious to try it both ways and see which actually works better. But
Ah,
I am inclined to
I
agree with you that mentioning it earlier will keep that objection from lingering and potentially getting in the way.
yeah, and I've been hearing lately from some sales training that it's smart to mention the price early, like you said. You gave the 3 price ranges
Yeah,
and then ask the customer because then they're not shocked later once they decide, "Oh, I want this," then
right,
finding out how much it is.
right. I just start with this. I'm really expensive and I don't work with everybody.
So I'm putting my contact information in the comments now because I know that you're gonna share this to your audience,
Yep,
so then, they'll be able to reach me as well if they wanna chat or learn anything from
yep,
me. And of
yep.
course, I've got your website in, for my audience to reach you. And I have enjoyed this so much. I feel like we could just keep going on and on.
We sure could.
This is and I feel like this is almost like a blind date for business because seriously, we have only known each other for 30 minutes before this
That's right.
in a brief breakout room in a networking. So
Yep.
this has been so valuable. I hope you got some great value out of this too, Lee, from
I
spending
I
this
I,
time.
I enjoyed it, and you know what my purpose is, right?
Your purpose is to help people.
Transformation. Yeah.
Transformation,
Yep.
yes.
And what I saw was that you had a tremendous gift to give, and there was just that little itty bitty committee standing in your way of playing full out.
Man, oh man.
So Rita, I have a request for you. It's a two-part request. One, if comma when you get stuck, call me.
Ah,
I will remind you of what you already know. It's just a saboteur yakking in your ear. It ain't you. and then let's schedule some time to follow up in a couple of weeks to see how things are going.
Yay, okay, good. I love that idea, and that'll force me to really keep my momentum going because
There's no forcing. That's just I want to hold you to your commitments.
yes. Well, it'll help me
Mhm.
keep my
Yep.
momentum going
Yep.
because I know I'm gonna talk to you in a couple weeks, and I
Yeah.
want to tell you the great benefit I got from
Yeah.
our call.
Yeah. We create our world with our words.
Oh, I love that.
So I always use what I believe to be the most powerful words, as opposed to have to, get to, as an example. I don't allow my salespeople to use the word try or hope. There is no try. As a famous philosopher said that, do or do not, there is no try.
I know that one. Well, thank you. So we're coming up on almost an hour. So I think we're going to let this stand and thank you so much. And I know my audience is getting huge, huge value out of this time that we spent together. And I appreciate you pouring into me and teaching all the people that are watching everything that you know.
And Rita, I want to acknowledge you for being open and vulnerable. Not everyone steps up for coaching in public.
Right. I think you're right.
You didn't know quite what you were getting into, and you stepped right into it. So, bravo, well done.
Yay.
Yeah, good job.
All right. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.